bring in Barry Tramel, columnist for the Oklahoman. And, let me start with who had the worst week there with Nebraska, Texas, Oklahoma State. Where would you start, Barry?
I might start with Mac Brown.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State found a few silver linings in the SI, found a way to sort of fight back. Nebraska is several steps ahead of where Texas is right now. So, it's looking bad for Mac.
Well, what does Texas do with Mac Brown right now?
Well, one of Mac's problems is that he's had such a great support base. President Bill Campbell Bill Powers and the AD DeLoss Dodds been such champions of his, but DeLoss is 74. There was a report over the weekend that DeLoss is going to retire so that the new AD can make significant coaching hires. It's just starting to all pile up, and now he doesn't have a defense again, and firing the defensive coordinator, bringing in somebody from Los Angeles in the middle of the season is one of the most desperate moves you can make, and it didn't seem to matter. Not that that was going to be a quick fix. So it's just piling up on Mac, and when the big donors turn on him, then he's in real trouble. But even the rank and file have a say in this. If they quit showing up to Royal Memorial, then there's no decision to be made.
But Barry, I think if you announce your retirement at the end of the year, then you can sort of go out with, waving to the crowd, go out gracefully, instead of, the fans sitting there holding their breath saying, is he going to be back again next year? And I think this is a graceful way for Mac Brown to exit. I
agree. Now, the question is, what kind of personality does Mac embrace that? And just, armchair psychoanalysis that I am, it seems like that is kind of Mac's personality. Somebody that's a little more feisty, somebody that's more competitive in terms of just their personality. They'll have to take them out kicking and screaming. But I can see Mac doing that, especially, if things don't turn around quickly, which no reason to think they will.
Why has Texas fallen off the face of the college football map?
I think it's got to be talent evaluation. Now, why they've done it that way, who knows? Is it laziness, just bad eyesight? I don't know. Bad personnel hires. But Texas generally gets whoever it wants. It's just wanted the wrong guys. Wanted a Robert Griffin to play defensive back. Didn't want Johnny Manziel. Just missing one great quarterback after another. And since Colt McCoy left, they've had huge quarterback problems. So, and they've also missed, that Baylor, in the last three NFL drafts, Baylor's had as many players picked as Texas.
Wow.
So, that's just an absurdity.
Bo Pelini in trouble for comments or coaching?
Oh, I think a little of both. Bo's a fiery guy. He gets his foot in his mouth about once a year. I think Nebraskans are a patient people, and they have a great history lesson to draw from their own experience. The last time they fired a coach who was a good coach, they didn't get better. They got a lot worse.
Was that Solich?
They fired Frank Solich in 2003 after a 10-3 season, and got Bill Callahan and just fell off the face of the earth. But Bo Pelini's coached 5 seasons. He had 4 lost seasons all years, 9-4, 10-4. All 5 years he's coached at Nebraska. I think they're going to be patient with him, but they're not going to be overly patient. And getting into a war of words with Tommy Frazier isn't going to help. If I was going to guess, I would guess, though, that Nebraska's fairly more patient than most schools would be.
Because if you look at Bo's record, I think he's won 70% of his games there, but it's how they're losing games that I think hurts this Nebraska fan base, where they're going, this isn't who we are. The black shirts that we play defense here, and they're coughing up. They're bleeding.
Well, they lose. They give up 70 to Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game. Squeak by Wyoming in a shootout on August 31st. And then get blitzed by UCLA the way they did. Yeah, it's and Bo's a defensive guy.
I know,
and so that's the worst part of it. So I do think there's serious questions up there. I think the Huskers. I'm not sure what's going on, but in terms of college football fan bases, and college football administration, Nebraska's one of the saner groups. So that's working in Bo's favor.
Let's say these 3 jobs opened up: Nebraska, Texas, USC.
I'll go Texas, USC, Nebraska in that order.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know. Nebraska, frankly, doesn't get the credit it deserves for winning as long as it did, considering their geography.
But, Barry, everybody is comparing the coach or the next coach to Tom Osborne, just like UCLA is still doing that. Steve Alford's going to go through that at UCLA. There's no John Wood. There is no John Wooden. There is no Woody Hayes. There is no Bo Schembechler. College football is different, but we keep holding these guys, to a different standard here.
That's definitely true. My point about Nebraska is, at Texas and USC, at least you got a ton of ball players close by. I don't know where you recruit your players if you're Nebraska. In the old days, they went to New Jersey and the upper Midwest and some California, and then threw in some Midwest linemen. When the Big 12 era started, they got pretty good in Texas, but now they've left the Big 12. They don't have the Texas pipeline. I just think recruiting to Nebraska is going to be a bear.
Good to visit with you, Barry. Thanks for stirring it up. Talk to you soon.
You bet.
All right, Barry Tramel from the Oklahoman, columnist.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.